One of the most common questions in the exhibition industry is, why are exhibition stands so expensive? And honestly, if you've never worked behind the scenes of a trade show before, the pricing can sound completely unreasonable, especially when you see a stand that exists for only a few days. But exhibition projects are far more complex than people realize. They combine logistics, construction, transport, technical production, venue regulations, and extremely rigid deadlines, all compressed into a very short period of time. And after years of working on exhibition projects across Europe, I thought it would be interesting to explain what actually affects booth costs behind the scenes. One of the biggest differences between exhibition projects and traditional construction projects is the timeline. In exhibition industry, deadlines are absolute. The exhibition opens at a fixed hour no matter what happens at the build-up. You cannot ask the organizer for one extra day, which means that even relatively small delays can create significant operational pressure for the entire team. Another thing many exhibitors underestimate is how much the venue itself affects the projects. Every exhibition center has its own technical regulations, access procedure, and operational limitations. Ceiling height, suspended structure approvals, unloading schedules, floor load limits, restricted working hours, mandatory organizer services, and it goes on and on. Sometimes the complexity of the venue has a bigger impact on the project than the booth design itself. One thing that often surprises first-time exhibitors is that smaller booths are not necessarily cheaper. Many people assume that exhibition pricing works proportionally. Smaller stand equals dramatically smaller budget. But in practice, exhibition projects really don't work that way. Because a large part of the exhibition costs comes from operational factors rather than just square meters. Transport still needs to happen, the installation team still travels to the venue, accommodation is still required, organizer services still need to be ordered, electricity still needs to be connected, graphics still need to be printed. Labor is still one of the biggest cost factors. And in many cases, the difference in operational effort between a small stand and a medium-sized stand is not as dramatic as people expect. Exhibition pricing is not linear. For example, reducing a stand from 30 square meters to 15 square meters does not reduce logistics, accommodation, or installation costs by 50%. Some costs remain almost identical regardless of stand size, which is why smaller booths can sometimes appear disproportionately expensive from the outside, especially at international exhibitions where transport, labor, and venue costs are already very high before the actual booth construction process even begins. And this becomes even more noticeable at exhibitions in cities with particularly complicated logistics or high operational costs. One of the most logistically challenging projects we worked on was in Venice. Due to the location, stand materials had to be transported using boats equipped with lifting cranes, and after that, everything needed to be moved manually through narrow streets using pallet jacks. In addition, the installation took place inside a residential building, which meant night work was not permitted. As a result, a relatively compact installation process extended over almost 2 weeks. Projects like this demonstrate how logistics alone can completely transform the operational side of an exhibition build. Another major factor that affects pricing is preparation time. We've completed projects with extremely short timelines, sometimes receiving confirmation only 1 week before the exhibition. But late approvals significantly reduce flexibility. Production becomes urgent, transport options become limited, accommodation prices increase, labor scheduling becomes more complicated, and almost every operational process becomes more expensive. Another major cost factor is labor. People often imagine booth build as a relatively simple assembly process. But in reality, exhibition build-ups are extremely intensive operational environment. Teams often work overnight, access times are limited, vehicles operate on strict unloading schedules, and every contractor inside the hall works under the same fixed deadline. Especially on larger custom projects involving suspended signs, LED screens, lighting systems, or water connection, installation quickly becomes a highly coordinated technical process. Even hanging a suspended sign above a stand is usually a separate technical operation. It involves venue approvals, rigging teams, technical drawings, weight calculations, safety regulations, insurance requirements, and installation scheduling. From outside, it may look simple, but operationally, it is often a project within the project. Many exhibitors also don't realize that a significant part of exhibition costs comes from organizer services. Electricity, rigging, water connection, internet, forklift handling, waste disposal, storage during the exhibition. There are often separate venue costs that stand builders does not directly control. And of course, there are always unexpected on-site situations, especially with water connections. For some reason, water systems at exhibitions have a remarkable ability to create problems regardless of who installs them. And because exhibitions operate under strict opening deadlines, these issues usually need to be solved immediately on site. In reality, exhibitors are not simply paying for physical structures. They're paying for coordination, technical planning, logistics, operational management, problem solving, timing, and the ability to execute complex projects under pressure. And when everything works smoothly during the exhibition, it usually means that hundreds of potential problems were already solved behind the scenes before the show even started. This is also why choosing an experienced tent builder is so important, because in exhibition industry, execution matters just as much as a design. A beautiful render is one thing. Delivering the actual project successfully on site is something completely different. Exhibition industry is a very unusual combination of construction, logistics, engineering, and live events. And honestly, that's also what makes it so interesting. If you'd like to see more behind-the-scenes stories and insights from exhibition projects across Europe, feel free to subscribe. There are definitely many more stories to tell.